Hi, this is Chris, the owner of Safe Drivers Florida. Today I'm going to be going over the 4 concepts that make parking a lot easier. The first thing is to always stay as far away from the parking space as possible. So you want to stay out here on the right, close to the white lines, just without rolling on top of them. Because by staying out here to the right and having a sharp turn, the car will be more or less straightened out by the time you get into the parking space. So it's a lot easier to fit into the space. If you're hugging the center of the aisle, the car has less time to turn and it's going to be more broad. It's harder to fit in between into the parking space, and it's easy to go too far to the right or too far to the left by accident. The second thing that makes parking easier is the sharper the turn, the easier it is. So you want to go up until you think your front bumper is even with the first pole. Once your front's at the first pole, you want to have a nice sharp turn, because once again, the car will be a lot more straight as you're trying to get into the parking space. If you turn from too far away, you'll be turning very slowly and gradually, and it's actually harder to fit into the space. So in every modern SUV that's mid-size or smaller, like a Mazda CX-50, a Volkswagen Atlas, they can all do that method. And of course, any car, like I said, go up to your front of the first pole and then turn. If you're in a larger vehicle, like a full-size SUV, a Chevy Suburban, or a full-size pickup truck, a Dodge Ram, Ford F-150, then yes, you will have to turn a little bit earlier, of course, to compensate, maybe as much as a full space prior to the one that you're trying to park in. So just keep that in mind, make the appropriate adjustment if you need to. The third thing that makes parking a lot easier is to go slow. Typically, if I have a student who's having trouble parking, they're just trying to go too fast into the parking space. So you want to keep some pressure on the brake the entire time you're rolling in, no more than about 2 to 3 miles an hour. But you don't want to stop the car. If you stop the car while you're trying to pull in and you're making adjustments with the wheel, you don't have a reference as to how much of an effect it's having on the arc that you're taking into the space. So you do want to keep the car moving, but no more than about 2 to 3 miles an hour. And then the fourth thing is actually the whole key to staying centered, and by far probably the most important, and that is you always want to stay as close as you can to the farthest side of the space. So as you're approaching the space, look at the first pole or the first white line for the spot you're trying to park in. This way you have a reference as to when to start turning. However, as soon as you start turning the wheel, flip your focus to the far side of the space, or in this case the pole on the right, and try to stay as close as you can, but obviously without hitting it. Now also, don't try to use every little tiny inch of room, misjudge it, clip the pole during your driving test, or of course sideswipe somebody's car. Just stay generically a little bit closer to the right. Once you're passing the 2 poles, just look straight ahead. Focus on letting the car straighten out, and then of course as the car straightens out, just straighten out the wheel. And that'll keep you centered when you park, if you can remember those 4 things. Thank you.